video. I'm trying to sneak a quick video here without people hearing me because I'm going to be talking some shit about these orchids. But I have a rare opportunity because these don't have plastic around them. I wanted to show you guys a couple things. So there's a close-up right there of botrytis. Okay. Dehydrated. So when you look at these roots, actually that's a good example right there. See how they're like papery? Papery. That's how you know. Paper, look for the paper. That's, you know, again, that's easier to salvage, but not ideal. But it gets worse. Check it out. So this one over here, on these leaves, let's see. That's all bacterial infection. Actually, it might be fungal. I'd have to look at my chart thing. But either way, this, and when you look at this potty media, it's soaking wet, and while the roots are not destroyed yet, like they're not like black or brown, clearly this orchid is completely overwatered, and you've got actually some mold there as well. Oh, and there's a dead leaf as well. So this is really sad. Okay, so I'm home from the store, and I was able to go to my chart and look this up. This plant has a lot of problems. So I've got it on mute so I can actually pause this and talk over it, which is awesome. So this plant has, on the leaves, that's Erwinia. E-R-W-I-N-I-A. It's a bacterial soft rot, and it's oftentimes spread through the splashing of water. So if there was like an open wound on one of those leaves for this orchid, where it'll, you know, the bacteria got in, potentially because it's got all kinds of issues that we're going to point out even more of here in a second. And then potentially somebody from Harry's Teeter watered it. Potentially if they watered it from above, water splashing could have allowed that bacteria to spread to other leaves. And also, it's entirely possible, I didn't have the opportunity to pull that pot out and see if there's water in it. I wouldn't be surprised if there's water in that pot, like as in they don't know it's supposed to be drained because of how soaked it all is. And this was the only orchid over there that was like this. So I wonder if they were like recognizing that these orchids are like really dehydrated, so they just like poured a bunch of water all over this one and then they didn't have a chance to do the others. This is really crazy, but this is a great example of a sick orchid, sadly. Okay, so here you can see that I pointed out that one particular root that was clearly has like all kinds of mold, like lots of different colors. I think there's bacteria and mold, but also to the left there's other roots that also have all kinds of infection. But the other thing is this. Okay, so here you can see at the bottom of the crown, it looks like there's rot there as well. That could be collar rot. That could be from the stem rot, all kinds of rot. So like I think there's fungal and bacterial infections going on here. Okay, so that bacterial, the soft rot or the wet rot, which is the Erwinia, those spots, it's kind of hard to tell from the video, but those lesions on the leaves, they were like all watery and slimy looking. That's how you can tell it's the Erwinia. Oh, this is so sad though. Wow, and look at that root there on the left. That's like a bright orange. Jesus. I've never even seen that before. This is like, wow, look at oh, right there on the left-hand side. That is crazy. Wow, this has like all kinds of stuff going on. But this is a good example. I mean, okay, and there on the top right, you can see that one of those lesions pretty well there. And you can see that there's like, it looks like some scratches on the surface of the leaf. That could be potentially how the bacteria entered on that particular leaf. Wow. Wow. And so the thing is, the roots that it still has that are decent right there, like they're completely waterlogged. And then the other roots that it has are dead. Like not, I mean, obviously it's not dehydration, it's the fungus. So what you have now, and who knows what it looks like inside the pot, but what you have now is when you've got roots that are all, you know, rotting like that. I mean, my guess is those roots that are still okay right now, they're not going to be, is only because they're at the top of the pot. my guess is probably the roots on the inside of that pot are all gone. And so what you have is you have then what, like 1, 2, 3 maybe healthy roots there that are now trying to do the job of absorbing all of the water in that pot without any help from other roots because they can't absorb water when they're dead. You can see how plump they are, and again, they're still green, thankfully. But you know what? When you've got a problem with the crown and the stem like that, which it looks like it has, again, it's systemic. We talked about in the last video. So, in other words, the roots can pick up, fungal or bacterial infections from the ends of the roots, and then it can be transmitted into the crown and the stem of the plant that way. But it can go the other way around. So if you've got an issue stemming from the crown, that maybe got transmitted via the bacterial infection on the leaves. So if it goes from leaves, goes into the crown, then it goes the opposite direction to where now that can get transmitted from like the crown or the stem into the roots the opposite direction, if that makes sense. Because it can go both ways. And I think that this probably has both going on because this is an absolute mess. So I don't know that there would be a way to salvage this orchid, even if they were offering it for free. And I would never take this home because all of this would spread to the other orchids. Like all that bacterial infection. Yeah, nope, nope, nope. This is highly contagious. I mean, obviously, like look at what it's doing to this orchid. So the orchids around it probably are susceptible because none of them had that plastic, which maybe would offer some protection. Wow. Wow. It's just sad.